And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Thursday, October 17th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company. Our guest host today, Matt Griffin.
Thank you, MJ. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coleman and Company, the Thursday edition of it. I am Matt Griffin, and I am usually playing music on Saturday mornings in the studio where MJ is, so this is a little bit different for me, but I'm just another in a long lineup of guest hosts who are filling in for Coleman while he's on a well-deserved vacation. But we're glad to have all of you join us today, and it's great to have our sponsor for the first half of Coleman and Company with us this morning, Bates Ford, joining us like to do every Thursday morning. We want to welcome Paul Tubbs, General Manager.
Good morning.
And to Ronnie Kelly, Salesman Extraordinaire.
Good morning.
37 going on 38 years?
Yes, sir.
Fantastic. Well, I didn't even need the headlights on this morning because that full moon was lighting my way in today. It was crazy. You all have got a lot going on at the brand new Bates Ford location there at 1760 Franklin Road, 1780 Franklin Road, I beg your pardon. And I guess now you're coming up on 1 year, Paul?
Yeah, we're right at a year. I think we moved in the week after Thanksgiving, so we got about a month and a half, but we are getting settled in. Actually, they just put our Ford signs up, so that tells you we had to have monument signs because of the location of the dealership, but we're getting settled in, and we're really happy with the new dealership and happy with what we've got. It's increased our vehicle inventory immensely. We've got probably triple the new cars. We've got probably quadruple the used. We've got over 400 vehicles on the lot for sale, so we've got a massive inventory. Our service department is more than double the size. We're staying really busy in service, so we're blessed, and we really, love the location with it facing the interstate. And we got a nice new flagpole with an American flag up yesterday that looks great. So we're getting settled in. Everything's going well.
Got all of these new cars, for example, trucks, SUVs. Mm-hmm. So you have 2024s, and you also have some 2025 models in now, or?
Yes, we do have some 25 models in our SUVs, and we got more coming in. And one great thing about Bates Ford, at this point, like Paul said, we got many, many used vehicles. And the great thing about our used vehicles, we got a great selection. And one thing about it now, since we doubled our size in the service department, we can get those cars in the shop and out and get them ready to go. And so we got a great selection of new cars. We used to not have those new cars and trucks. F-150, we got a great selection, F-250, 350s. So we're doing a great job of getting things going. And remember, we at the dealership that would trade for anything that don't eat.
That was my question. The dealer that trades for anything that don't eat. So what would be one of the more unusual items that you all have traded for over the years?
There's several. I mean, you can't, Tony, that's Tony's bread and butter. He loves that kind of stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we've, right now we've got an Axis ski boat, and that thing's like 125. It's a wake boat. It's sitting right there facing the interstate. We traded this month for a truck and camper combo. We've got a really neat conversion van. It's a Transit Connect. That's a Explorer conversion that, if somebody wants to go tailgating at a football game, this thing's
right.
One of my friends that does our commercials, me and Tony has shot a commercial Tuesday. He was looking at it, he said, that'd be awesome to take to a football game because, it's the tailgater's dream. It's got all the conversion with the seats and all that kind of stuff. But we've traded for a lot of stuff that's crazy. People's brought farm equipment, jewelry. The list goes on and on and on. A lot of boats, a lot of campers, RVs. One thing that Mr. Bates, he stands by that motto. If you got something that you either want to turn into cash or you've got something that you want to trade, that, a lot of people with the campers, they don't, they get them and they're new and fresh, and then they kind of get burned out on it. So a lot of times these campers, we do a lot of trading for that because we can put that money towards a down payment on a new vehicle, lawnmowers, boats. The list goes on and on.
Seen a lot of classic cars too that people seem to decide to get rid of, and I'm sure they're a hot item too.
Well, that's something that Tony did years ago with Scott Smith is he got involved, and we got our own classic car division. We actually have a separate location where we store all of our classic cars up on, I believe it's on East Main up there. It used to be a grocery store. We own that building, and it's full of classic cars. So Scott does a good job. He sells most of them. online and through auctions. He goes to the GAA auction, but we travel all over the country to buy classic cars, and we sell them all over. We've actually sold them outside the country, so that's a great division we got as well.
That's fantastic. Well, before we run out of time this morning, take a minute to talk about your fantastic service department.
Yeah, one thing is our service is great. I mean, we've got our service department's huge, so when people see our shop, they're like, wow, that's amazing. But we've got 40 bays to fit people's needs. I get calls from people that's actually called other dealers consistently, and they're actually looking at our facility and seeing that we can get their work in and out quicker. We've got that pickup and delivery service where Shelly Billy, she'll come get your vehicle, bring it back to you. All you got to do is call Bates Ford. We'll schedule you a pickup delivery. Of course, we do our $39.95 oil change. That's up to 5 quarts, synthetic blended. Right now, I had a guy in there yesterday from Quick Lane. We are doing a lot of tire sales. Ford's got rebates on tires for up to $100. When you buy a set of tires from Bates Ford, you get lifetime rotation. And also our batteries. Our batteries are $179.95. Like I always say, best warranty in the game. You got 3-year free replacement. Then it's a 100-month proration after that. So give us a call at Bates Ford or come see us over at 1780 Franklin Road. We'd love to earn your business.
All right, 444-8221 for Bates Ford, the dealer that will trade for anything that don't eat. Guys, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Mm-hmm. Paul Tubbs and Ronnie Kelly with us this morning from Bates Ford. It is 11 minutes after the hour, and it's time for our first guest on the first half of the show today. So we're going to be welcoming in some people from our Lebanon Public Works Department. We have Jeff Baines joining us and Lee Clark, and I think they may be making their way into the studio right now. And here they come. I knew I saw Lee just a few minutes ago. I was talking to him out in the hallway, and here comes Jeff. So this is what Coleman is always talking about, spontaneous and unrehearsed radio. This is us right here.
Here we are.
Live and living color. Guys, it's great to have you with us this morning. Jeff Baines, Commissioner of Public Works, and Lee Clark, General Services Administrator. So I thought we would start out, before we get into the meat of the program, take a minute to share with everybody, re-educate us on what the Public Works Department is, what you do, and some of the responsibilities in your particular jobs. So, Jeff?
Well, I'll kick it off there. As public services now includes really everything except for utilities. A couple years ago, we split utilities off of Public Works. A few years ago, it's all part of the same team. Mm-hmm. Like everything's in Lebanon, the growth. Mm-hmm. When I started here, we were about 20,000 people. We're 50,000 people now. So a couple years ago, we split this off, put the utilities under Regina Santana. She's managed that group now. Mm-hmm. But Public Works is everything else. The streets, the maintenance work, our cemetery, our garage. Lee hit me out there a little bit more. There's so many things there, including, we're part of the airport. Mm-hmm. The airport's on the C11. I involved the airport quite a bit in our team. So all those type of services that, residential folks really appreciate whatever. That's one thing Lee will talk today about what we do this time of year, for example. So I also in my work also the engineering and planning, the professional side of the team too. So we're involved in growth as always. No one priority, it seems like. Plus maintaining, Lee especially maintain services. So you got both sides that we're growing and dealing with the new things at the same time. Okay, take care of what we got too. So that's where Lee really comes in. His team is just day to day. They're out there taking care of things. So. They appreciate everybody, I think, but sometimes it goes unnoticed unless you hit a pothole, you don't think about it, right? But I'll brag a bit. We don't have any potholes. Our guys keep them up pretty well, but his group day to day keep things going on. So he might talk about some stuff going on right now out there in our world. Is the fall year coming up here too. So,
and Jeff, before we switch over to Lee for a moment, as commissioner, what is your primary responsibility really?
Well, coordination. I have 5. Really good folks. Lee's one of them that report to me. The city planner reports to me. The city engineer people report to me. Head off the airport, et cetera. So that's day to day is coordinate communication. I work directly with the mayor under the mayor, of course. So we talk every single day. I'm in the same building, so he can find me easy every single day.
I bet he can.
So it's just coordination, and you're right. We talk all the time. Growth is number one, no question. But still, we got to maintain. So it's that balance of, we want things. Mayor talks all the time, we want restaurants, things like that. We've got to have growth, so we've got to manage that growth. Got to take care of the drains, for example. People worry about getting flooded, at least about 3 times a year. Most time, nobody's worried about flooding, right? It's a pretty sunshine day, it's great, but when storms come through, a Because we're going to repair. We had the sandbags there a few weeks ago.
That's right.
Something could happen. So really, it's a combination of growth and taking care of what you have.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like a lot of preparation too. Just being prepared for the worst sometimes.
That's right. Sometimes you're prepared and it doesn't happen. That's okay.
Well, Lee, before we get to the break, I'll give you just a minute to explain about what your primary responsibilities are, and then we'll come back after the break and talk more about some projects and things.
Well, that's fine. Like I said, yeah, my primary world, I guess, is the operations world. As Jeff said, sort of the street department, traffic signals, burden maintenance, mowing maintenance, and the garage. Mm-hmm. Sort of those departments is what I have under my umbrella. And like I said, operations world, as Jeff said, just keeping everything going. And these days, that's a challenge with the growth that we're having. It keeps you busy.
I bet it does. Well, I will say that you all do a fantastic job with your team, and considering the growth that our city has had, I applaud you all for that. Well, coming up after the break, we're going to talk about some of the projects that you have going on and maybe some of the things that you're anticipating for the future. We'd like to find out about that. It's 15 minutes after the hour right now, and we'll take a break. You're listening to Coleman and Company on FM 98.9.
All right. Thanks, Mac. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Bates Ford. And get a regular oil change, $39.95, up to 5 quarts of oil. Tax and disposal, 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Trying to clean up this accident 24 westbound at OHB here in Antioch. It was here long enough to really slow down that traffic on 24 westbound. Coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County through this section of Davidson County here on 24 westbound at OHB as traffic starts to get heavy, not only in this area, but westbound Vietnam vets trying to get through Hendersonville right now, trying to work your way up to Conference Drive. Prince's Hot Chicken has new items on the menu today. Check them out, princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
It's a sad fact that gun violence is the #1 killer of children in Tennessee. We must pass responsible gun safety laws to protect them. I am Joni Cochran, running for Tennessee House District 46. I am a gun owner, and I fully support the Second Amendment. Vote for me, and I'll work for safe storage, background checks, and red flag laws to make our state safer for all of us. Paid for by Joni for TN46, Mary Patterson, Treasurer.
Are you thinking about buying a new home? Let A.G. & Johnson assist you with your new home search. From the first-time home buyer to the empty nester, we are experienced in all facets of the home buying process. We will be with you every step of the way. No matter if you are buying, selling, downsizing, or upsizing, we can assist you with your real estate needs. Call us at 615-444-0909 or find us online at agandjohnson.com or Facebook A.G. & Johnson Realty. A.G. & Johnson is your community's trusted realty and auction company.
Hey, this is Paul with Bates Ford. I got some exciting news for you. Bates Ford's moved into our new location at 1780 Franklin Road. That's right, Bates Ford's at 1780 Franklin Road, just off Hartman Drive and Interstate 40. We've got a much larger selection of vehicles to choose from, a state-of-the-art double-sized service department. So come see us at 1780 Franklin Road. That's Bates Ford, 615-444-8221. Bates Ford, a dealer will trade for anything that don't eat.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Coleman and Company on 98.9. My name is Matt Griffin, filling in for the vacationing Coleman Walker this morning. Our guests here in Part 1 today are Jeff Baines, the Commissioner of Public Works, and Lee Clark, General Services Administrator. Guys, we're glad to have you with us. And right before the break, we started talking about some of the projects going on that you're working with, Lee, and some things that will be maybe coming up in the future. So if you want to share a little bit of that with us.
Okay. Yes, sir. I sort of like, we'll just sort of talk about, I guess, the departments, like I said, that are under my umbrella and the things that we do, the things that, not that we do, that they do, that, you know, sort of go on maybe sometimes unnoticed. So I thought I would just sort of mention some of the things that we do. Just like my street department right now, they are bush hogging across town for the final time this year. This next couple of weeks, they'll be winding that up, which includes the creek sort of on the south side of town that'll get that ready, cleaned out for spring rains, hopefully. Mm-hmm. Then coming up in November, we start our loose leaf pickup, where right now we're picking up leaves in bags or grass clippings. But in November, we'll start picking up leaves with a leaf vac truck that will come around. And we'd love to say we get to you once a week, but depending on volume, that sort of changes. We have 2 leaf vacs We start out slow as the leaves are falling. As they ramp up, we ramp up, and as they ramp down, we ramp down. And so to say we'll be at your house once a week, I'd love to say we could, but that doesn't always. We'll run every day as long as we're finding leaves. How's that?
How does that work? Do they have to rake the leaves out to the street, or how does that work?
Yes, if they can have them out to the edge of the road, not in the road, not try to stay out of the ditch, because like I said, then if we do get a rain or something, that tends to wash down into a culvert or something, causing us a few more issues. But yes, if they'll get them out to the road, where like I said, our leaf vacs probably 2 to 3 feet off the road is what it'll swing and can suck the leaves up. So if they get them there, we're running routes every day. They can call if they want to, but we're out running a route that we're covering the entire city. So then in November, I start saying, well, going on from that, then we'll start getting ready. I know people don't want to think about this, but we'll start putting salt spreaders on trucks, getting those ready to go, getting everything checked, make sure that it comes back to life from last winter's use. Then we'll start making our salt brine, getting that ready for any snow or ice that we have to put down. We'll make like 10,000 gallons of that, have it on hand, ready to go.
And I want to ask about that too. So when we have snow or ice in the forecast, I guess you all are keeping up with all of that, and then the process of getting the brine on the streets. How does that work, and when does that get started? Ahead of so many hours ahead of the predicted storm, or days, or.
And every storm event, I guess, as I tell Jeff and the mayor, is a challenge. Just because what you're going to get, if you're going to get the snow starting, the brine works great. If you're going to get rain changing over to snow, it dilutes it, washes it out. There's no need to do the brine. So you sort of got to, as you said, watch the weather, try to get all the information you can, and try to make the best decision you can. Yep. Do you always get it right? No.
but neither do the weather forecasters.
And that's why I said. That's fair. And some days you're just sort of waiting to see what falls.
That's right.
So, and you just sort of have to, as I know Jeff doesn't really like me to say this sometimes, a lot of it is a react mode, because how much, how long, temperatures going up, going down, everything sort of plays into that as to how salt or how the brine's going to work. And like I said, some days you're good and some days,
Yeah. And, we're people that live around here understand this, but if you're new to the area, we're in a unique part of the country where winter weather is really difficult to predict, and it might be 6 inches of snow predicted, and you might have a sunny day, and they could say we'll have flurries, and you might get the 6 inches of snow. It's just hard to tell because of where we're situated.
Oh, exactly. I mean, and on that same thought, just like Jeff mentioned earlier, our flooding stuff. Back 2.5 weeks ago, we had the rains off the hurricane, and like Jeff said, we erred on the side of caution. Gave out sandbags, got all ready to go just in case. Well, we were able to handle, I think the rain gauge was nearly 5 inches of rain, and Town Creek never got out of its banks. We were very fortunate in that event. Normal 5-inch rain in a short period of time, we would have had all kinds of issues. So like I said, that just...
and adding what Lee said there, we talk a lot of times, because this was from my background too, these rain events and our flooding, we realize we're in a bowl. Downtown's in a bowl, for example. And so, we get our flooding here is flash flooding.
Yep.
That's our flooding. People don't understand it sometimes, but like Lee said, 5 inches of rain, the creek didn't hard to get up. If it had come in 2 inches in 2 hours, we've been using them sandbags.
Yep.
But we deal with flash flood in Tennessee. We don't deal with river-type flooding that takes hours and time to pick out. So we're unique in that sense.
Yeah. So in that case, you do have to be able to react quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. And then I guess one of the other things that the winter weather brings on, as Jeff mentioned earlier, are potholes. The freeze, the thaw, the rain, moisture, we'll have to deal with those. So that's another thing that we deal with over the winter.
And so with the potholes, identifying the potholes, where they are, and what needs to be dealt with first. Is that based on your observations or phone calls from the public or a combination of both?
I start saying that's a combination of both. And then, like I said, we will have some time, wet days or something, just actually have the guys get out and try to basically police the roads and just sort of see what they find. Mm-hmm. So that's a never-ending battle in the wintertime.
Yeah, and your questionnaire, Mac, too, you can get on our website. There's also a form there you can fill out. So we're like everybody, use technology, but the phone's always there. Mm-hmm. You can email people like us that you know, or you just get on the website and fill out a little complaint, and more likely we're going to send it anyway, but we still want to be notified, right?
Exactly.
Let us know.
So lots of different options on how we can let you know.
Always feel free to contact. Always contact us.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
But I was just going to cover quickly. I know we're about to run out of time, but on some of the other departments, our traffic signal crew, as you've noticed, we've got traffic signals going up all over town. I mean, that we're growing in leaps and bounds, and so them keeping up with that. But some of the other duties that people probably don't realize they do, we assist the Wilson County, Tennessee State Fair, putting up banners and doing some of the streamers and stuff for them as they get ready for it, and then help take them down. But then also, over the last month or so, they've been putting bulbs in Christmas lights, and because we have to check those every year before we put them up, and then they.
It's almost time for that. I can't believe it.
Right, and then, all these things that like I said are behind the scenes that people don't really think. Then here, the 1st of November, we'll be working with Middle Tennessee Electric to install those up and down West Main, 231 on the poles.
So I want to stop there and make sure I understand this right. So you all are responsible for the bulbs, and then Middle Tennessee Electric hangs
exactly.
But they're not going to change the bulbs.
No. We check the bulbs, put them up, and we'll check the bulbs and then take them and put them out by the pole. Middle Tennessee Electric puts them up on the pole for us. Then after the holidays, the reverse order, they come set them down at the base of the pole. We come back by, pick them up, store them for the winter. So that's that's like I said, in addition to or other duties as assigned, as Jeff says sometimes on things, but then just like my building maintenance crew, we're growing. We've got more buildings. We've got, as they get older, things just need to be kept up. But also just some of the things additional things they do this time of year. We've got the Christmas tree that when we have our Christmas tree lighting here before long, they're the guys that are responsible for getting that put up. They help with our stage for the event. So sort of like special events, they're instrumental in getting all that stuff set up. And one more thing, I know you see every year, our Christmas float.
Yes.
They help. They're very instrumental in building it. So then one other crew I've got here, our mowing guys. That as the season for grass winds down, they will start trimming fence rows and cleaning up things at the cemeteries. They will be picking up litter around town, and then start maintaining, pulling maintenance on the equipment, getting everything ready to go for next year.
So it's a never-ending cycle for those guys.
Exactly. And then one more quick, I guess my other group to mention, I guess the group that probably holds the majority of us together is the guys over at the garage. Because sort of all these departments that I've mentioned, and like Jeff's mentioned, the utilities world under Regina, and then police and fire, the guys over at the garage keep all our equipment running so that we're able to provide the services, which that's a very big responsibility.
Yeah, I'd say so. Absolutely.
That's vehicles as well. You said equipment and vehicles.
Yes. Yeah. Police from heavy equipment to police cars to pickup trucks to
a gator maybe.
It's not just your department of vehicles. It's
citywide.
A city vehicle.
It's all citywide. They repair everything they can, and then make a decision if it needs to go out to a dealership or to outsource or whatever. But anyway, I just wanted to take a quick minute and tell all those folks how much we appreciate all they do that, like I said, to me goes on sort of unnoticed and behind the scenes sometimes.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Leah. These are unsung heroes. They're out there doing the work, and sometimes in the worst weather conditions, too.
Absolutely.
But getting the job done for all of us. So.
One more lady to mention, too, is our backbone folks who support us. Talk about your 9 and killing the folks up there.
The office staff. Just as we can't let them go unnoticed, because without them, as you said, the phone calls, the people that call in for the potholes, brush, or having leaves, or just have a general issue. The ladies there at the office will be the ones that will take the phone calls and relay out to the fields. And sometimes we don't quite understand. We get lost in translation. Sometimes on what they let us, what we need to go do. But if they call in, I can't say enough about the ladies there at the office that sort of hold us. Keep everybody in line.
I am sure.
That in the budget.
That's right.
One quick time announcement. I got a call yesterday afternoon from our gas department. This first cool mornings remind us all that the gas department has a one-time free relight your pot light. So call them right now to schedule it, 444-6300. If you want to schedule your pot light. It's been off all summer. You get a freebie the first time here, so call to get your gas turned back on and stay warm.
It's that time to do that. It was pretty chilly this morning, so I can imagine.
Absolutely.
Well, Jeff Baines, Lee Clark, we appreciate you guys from Lebanon Public Services coming out today to visit with us, share with us some things that are going on. We appreciate the work you all do. Hope you have a great rest of the year. And we are going to take a break here at 30 minutes past the hour. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to the folks from A.G. & Johnson Realty. And then we've got some fun going on with Tim Leeper Roofing. So that's all just ahead on Coleman & Company here on FM 98.9.
Thanks, Mac. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to our friends at Absolute Kubota. They have a deal designed to keep you ahead of schedule. Check out the world's #1 selling compact excavator plus 0% financing. Going on now until the end of the year. Absolute Kubota. They're located at 1506 West Main. Now with traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's moving a little bit better than it was on 24 as you work your way up through the Antioch area. Coming in right now from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County remains heavy, however, into Davidson County on 24 going westbound. Give yourself a little extra time just to be on the safe side as you head towards Nashville from Murfreesboro. It's crowded now down 65 southbound through Millersville. Nash Painting, a non-franchise painting company, mentioned this ad. Get a 10% discount. Call Nash Painting today at 912-2288. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
The refreshing cool after coming in from a hot summer day. The perfect temperature to kick off your shoes and relax with a good book. When the weather heats up, a new Rheem AC system will surround your family in total comfort. Are you feeling it? Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
Financing available through TVA's Energy Right program and your local power company. Call Randy's Heat and Air 237-3604.
Rheem, the new degree of comfort.
This is Lebanon Mayor Rick Bell. During my first term as mayor, we have worked together with a sense of urgency to get Lebanon moving into the right direction. This includes approve the largest infrastructure project in the history of Lebanon with sewer lines running to South Hartman Drive. Phase 1 and 2 of a signal synchronization system that will move traffic throughout the city more efficiently. Increase our economic development recruitment efforts, which have resulted in new retail centers and new restaurants to keep our sales tax base strong. This is Mayor Rick Bell. I am asking for your vote.
Paid for by Rick Bell for Mayor, Greg Landers, Treasurer.
We'll have sunny skies for today, highs in the mid-60s, clear tonight, lows in the mid-30s, and then sunny for our Friday, highs in the upper 60s. This weather forecast brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. With your Severe View forecast, I'm Storm Specialist Drew Richards.
We'll have fun.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Coleman & Company here on 98.9. My name is Matt Griffin, filling in for the vacationing Coleman Walker, as we say a lot of times in radio, the man who's on special assignment somewhere. That's right. But it is a little bit after 7:30 in the morning, and it's great to have our sponsors for the second half of the show with us today. A.G. & Johnson Realty and Auction from 1728 West Main. You can always call them at 444-0909. And we have Helene Cash with us this morning.
Good morning.
Jay White, good morning to you.
Good morning.
And I bet y'all have got a lot going on.
Oh, there's a lot of moving parts over here.
There is a lot going on.
Where to begin?
It's the jigsaw puzzle of it all.
Where to begin, especially when you have interest rates that are starting to lower, and I'm sure that is building the momentum.
Absolutely. So, Jay, what are we doing this weekend?
This weekend, I guess we'll start with some auctions. But this weekend, Saturday morning at 10 o'clock on October the 19th, as we all know it, we're going to be over on Jennings Avenue here in town at 213 Jennings Avenue, just right off of 231 South there. We've got a nice little one-story home over there that was built back in the 80s. If you're looking for a nice 1,300 square foot home, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, just a nice, comfortable house with it's got a nice den, got a fireplace, just a nice, comfortable home right in the heart of town. If you're looking for a little house, close to Walmart, close to shopping, close
convenient.
to church. It really is convenient. Come out and be with us. It's in a nice nice neighborhood there, right close to 231, as we said. We've also got a lot of items to sell there. So if you're looking, if you're in the market for some nice furniture or any type of household items, come out and be with us Saturday morning. We'll start there at 10 o'clock. I think we'll sell the house at 10 o'clock. Then we'll fall right in and sell all the personal property after that. But if it just come out with us, be with us Saturday morning. It looks like it's going to be a good morning. So come out Saturday morning and be with us here on Jennings Avenue. And then we'll talk just briefly we'll talk about it more next week, but on October the 26th, 2 weeks out, we're going over and visit our neighbors over in Rutherford County, and we do like to get over there from time to time. And we've got some acreage tracts over there. So if you're interested in some beautiful level to rolling land and want to be out of town just a little bit, it's located out on Pete Alsop Road in Las Casas, and it's off of 231 South. I guess you could say if you're from Murfreesboro, it'd be 231 North, but it's conveniently located.
For directionally challenged people.
Right. It's that way.
That's right. I get confused sometimes. But anyway, if you're looking for something just over in the Rutherford County area, it's right on the Wilson-Rutherford County line there, just a beautiful tract of land. It's going to be sold in 5 tracts, 38 acres. So we'll talk about that a little more next week. But if you just go to our website and take a look, if you're looking for some acreage on the south side of town, reach out to us, and we'll be glad to send you the information on it.
Those tracks are beautiful. I was out there looking at them the other day, and they are just beautiful.
They are, but it's a great time right now if you're looking to buy, like you were saying, looking to buy a home or sell a home. Like you say, the interest rates are coming down. There's lots of folks out there that are looking. The inventory is probably a little less than it has been.
So it's a great time to list.
Good time to list your home. And if you've got any interest in selling your home, please give us a call. With the interest rates coming down, there is a little more demand that we've seen. Not that we haven't had that demand here, but it looks like the activity is getting better, and there's more folks out there looking and searching for a home than there was a couple of months ago.
So as Jay was saying, and as you were saying, Mac, that the interest rates are sliding down a little bit, and right now we're seeing the inventory a little bit slimmer. So if you are even thinking about listing your home, it's a tremendous time to do that, because people are still looking to move to Middle Tennessee, especially in the Wilson County area. So it's a wonderful time to list your home. So if you have an interest of listing and you would like an agent to come out and talk to you about what the process is to list your home, you can give us a call at 615-444-0909, and we can have an agent come out and talk to you about the process of listing.
Do the houses today on the market, how long before, on average, is it before?
On average, on average right now, I think it was 37 days. I mean, it's so quick.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time it goes on, gets listed, gets under contract, it's fast.
So it's basically when you list, you also better be ready to move too.
Yeah. People are moving to this area, and even people in the area are just either upsizing or downsizing, that they're transitioning into a larger home or a smaller home. It's pretty fantastic.
Got a minute or so left. I was going to ask you all, what drives somebody to do an auction versus just list their property?
Personal dynamic. It's whatever their needs are. Sometimes they want to know their date of closing. It could be a death in the family. It could be that they are moving and they need to know that date of closing. So they want to know that they're closing in 30 days. They want to know that exact date. So just whatever your personal needs are. So many different reasons. So we go out and we talk to you about what your needs are. Sometimes, you know what, we don't care. We've already moved. We moved out of state.
Yeah.
We're already gone. We're gone. See you. Take care of it. Take care of it for us. We're okay. So just we have a house full of furniture. We have a house. We have 4 cars in the garage. We have a house. We have 3 garages full of items. We need some help.
Well, as you all have done since 1977, you just go through the whole process with somebody. You can walk them through the whole thing to make them comfortable and help them make the right decision. What's best for them?
Absolutely. So every situation is unique, and we talk through that with them to help them understand what is best for their personal needs.
Very good. Can you tell everybody where they can reach you for more information? So many different ways to reach us. You can reach us online at agandjohnson.com. Our phone number is 615-444-0909. Facebook, AG and Johnson. All the different ways to find us. Very good.
Or we're at 728 West Main Street. Just find us right there on West Main.
Or listen for Jay to be auctioning off something from the porch out there, I guess.
Absolutely.
That's true. Helene Cash, Jay White, thank you all for joining us today from
Thanks
A.G.
for having
Johnson
us.
Realty. Have a great day, okay?
Thank you.
It is 20 minutes before the top of the hour, and we're going to welcome Tim Leeper into the studio. He's going to make a quick switch here to another seat. So I had your mic all set, Tim, over there, and now I'm going to turn it back down and get you to the red mic. They were teaching me this morning about all the color coding and everything. I didn't tell them that I was colorblind, so I'm just kind of going with, actually I'm not, but it sounded like a good joke anyway. So welcome to the show this morning, Tim.
Thanks, sir. Thanks for having me.
Good to have you with us today. And I know we always have lots of things to talk about with Tim Leeper Roofing. And I thought that before we got to the break, if you would just take a minute, not only for me, but just for everybody listening in, to kind of take us through the steps from the very beginning. What got you into the roofing business and how your business has gotten to where it is today?
Yeah, I'm glad to do it. Years ago, I was a young man looking for something to do. Right out of high school, I determined pretty quick I wasn't a candidate for college. It just was not in the cards for me. I was a terrible student in high school, and I don't know why that would change going into college now that I'm having to pay for it. So I realized that I needed to find something to do, and I wanted to find something to do that was a good way to make a living. It was an honorable way to make a living where I could sleep at night, not worry about, having done something to cheat somebody, but and something that would be around for a long time. And so I said, okay, we can go into the construction trades because they're always building. So I went into construction trades, started working for a guy named Bill Pentecost. Bill was kind of an old head. He was one of those guys who had the old crank drills, and before they came out with power drills, he had old crank drills, and he did log cabins. And so, ironically, I now live in a log cabin, but he did log cabins, and he would disassemble log cabins all over the southeast United States and ship them back here. And he would have people in the Williamson County area to go on a waiting list to get him to come out and do additions on their log cabins or to build outbuildings out back from these disassembled buildings all over the southeast United States. And so I thought that was very interesting that people would wait a year and 2 years sometimes for him to come do their work. But he was that good. It was just he and my uncle at the time that worked together, and I came to him one day and he said, hey, whatever this little job you're doing is, quit that, come to work, let me teach you a trade. So I said, okay, well, it sounded good at the time because I was kind of floundering. I didn't really have a direction, just right out of high school those months after, and I knew I needed to do something. So I started working for him, and every day without fail I got yelled at because I didn't know a thing about construction. I had been going to school and playing baseball and all the things that high school kids are supposed to be doing. The only work experience I had up to that point is I worked at a movie store, where we did video rentals back when we used to have VHS.
Oh, I remember those things.
Video rentals. So I didn't have very much experience. Got yelled at every day because I didn't know a thing, but I didn't know the difference between a 2x4 and an 8-penny nail. And so And there was a lot of learning that had to take place. And so every day I go in and it just kind of gets monotonous, getting fussed at. But the one day that I had some things together and I didn't get yelled at was the day that we did a roof for his mother. And so I learned a couple of things about myself that day. One is I didn't like going and sitting in the same area, working on a building or a room addition, and we would work for 3 or 4 days and not see anything get done. There's a few things that changed, but he's a very meticulous worker. But this time we were putting a roof on, and so we put a roof on the front and the back of her house. Now it's just a recover. I didn't know the difference. I didn't know you're supposed to tear a roof off, but that's what he did because he was doing it for his mom. And we got the whole roof done in a day. And I thought, this is great. I was able to do this, didn't get yelled at, and we actually got some things done and covered. So I learned that I didn't like getting yelled at, number one. And number two, I like to see things get done. So I'm pretty results-oriented. Mm-hmm. So fast forward, I went to work for a union sheet metal company that also did union roofing, and I was in both unions at one time, but I learned to fabricate, and I would go at night, and I went to an apprenticeship program for a couple of years where we would learn how to fabricate drip edges and lock strips and gravel guards and counter flashings and anything like that, just custom metal that you can fix a lot of things in the roofing industry with knowing how to break custom metal. And so I learned how to do that. I went to work for a large contractor in Nashville who is still there but recently sold for a couple of years, and we didn't have the same moral compass. And so we had a different way of looking at customers. I looked at them like people who needed a job done, and he looked at them like an ATM. And so I knew that wasn't going to be a long-term fit for me. And so I went out on my own in 2004. I got with Dave Ramsey, and I was one of the first people in the entree leadership class. There's 62 people in there all over the country, and they just happened to be, because Dave's in Nashville, happened to be in Nashville, and I listened to his show all the time, and I called in, and they let me come in as one of the last people in, and we spent about a week teaching. He was teaching me about business and all the things that I should know, and so that was kind of the first week in my business in 2004, and ever since, I've really enjoyed. I've learned a lot about roofing. I've learned a lot of things to do and more importantly, a lot of things not to do. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of brought me to where I am now 20 years later. We'll be celebrating 20 years. What month is this? October? Next month. Next month will be our 20-year anniversary.
Well, we're going to talk more about that and just about roofs in general and what you all do coming up right after the break. It is 14 minutes before the top of the hour. You're listening to Coleman and Company on FM 98.9.
Thanks, Mac. Let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford and the low price tire guarantee on all tires every day, up to 30 days after the sale. There'll be any competitor's pricing on the tires they sell. 1780 Franklin Road. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. It's starting to get a little bit heavier in the last few minutes on 24 westbound. Coming in from Murfreesboro, Rutherford County. It's been a busy one, that's for sure. On 24 going westbound, we've already had numerous accidents. They're finishing up this one near OHB. They're on 24 westbound. At one point, had traffic slow coming in from Murfreesboro through Rutherford County, from Rutherford County into Antioch. Traffic's crowded southbound 65 there at Trinity Lane. Hey, Nash Painting, a non-franchise painting company, mentioned this ad. Get a 10% discount. Nash Painting, 912-2288. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Why are you paying taxes on groceries? Because the Republican-controlled state government would rather give wealthy corporations billions of dollars in tax breaks instead of you. I'm Joni Cochran, and I'm running for Tennessee House District 46. Vote for me, and I'll work to eliminate the tax on groceries and infant and feminine products. Let's give hardworking families a tax break, not more rich businesses. Paid for by Joni for TN46, Mary Patterson, Treasurer.
Drug Free Wilco is partnering with local law enforcement agencies for National Drug Take Back Day on Saturday, October 26. Drop-off locations will be at Gibbs Pharmacy, Walgreens on West Main, Three Forks Marketplace, and TriStar Mount Jet ER. Unused medications are a public safety issue that may lead to accidental poisoning, overdose, or misuse. Drop them off Saturday, October 26 from 10 to 2. Receive a free lot box from Drug Free Wilco. This project is funded under a grant contract with State of Tennessee Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services.
What is your passion? How can you use that passion to enrich your community? Hi, this is Melanie Minter, President and CEO of the Lebanon-Wilson County Chamber of Commerce. Your chamber is the resource for making connections to fulfill your passion. Whether education, nonprofit, agriculture, entertainment, or government relations, Wilson County offers a place for you to be involved. Your chamber connects businesses, individuals, and your passion to the community. We have an enthusiasm for excellence. Join us and catch the spirit. Call or visit our office at 149 Public Square in Lebanon.
Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Coleman and Company on 98.9. My name is Matt Griffin, filling in for Coleman Walker on this Thursday morning, and we have Tim Leeper with us from Tim Leeper Roofing as our guest in part two. So, Tim, welcome back. We were talking about the history behind how you got into the roofing business, which I thought was really interesting because it leads us into where you are today and somebody who has experience of going through, I guess, the world of hard knocks, and now you're here and you know what needs to be done to do a great job on a roof, what people expect, and how they want to be treated. And I guess the weather right now, as it has been for the last couple of weeks, is pretty good for the roofing business.
It's awful dry. Now, roofing it's a double-edged sword. You've got to have the rain. You got to have the snow and ice to, show any issues with the roof, and that's what the weather does. It just shows how good a condition your roof is. Well, that's one of the things that it does. And so, if you've got a leak, that'll typically tell you, and especially if you got a couple of days of rain like we had with the hurricane Helene that came in just a few weeks ago. Hadn't rained for weeks before then. You get a lot of rain, and we get a lot of calls, and all of a sudden it's not going to rain for another 3 weeks after that. So, you just have to get used to it. But I'll tell you this, one thing that happens when you don't get a lot of rain, whether it's cold or it's hot, those roofs go through a bunch of thermal shock and temperature differentials. And so it might be 39 degrees in the morning like it was and get up to 80 degrees and then cool back down. And that takes a toll on those shingle roofs for sure. Not so much on the metal, but more on the shingle side. And so as you begin to do that, it will show that wood expands and contracts for your decking at a different rate than what your asphalt does. And over time, it'll back your nails out. It will cause cracking sometimes in your shingles where they're bent over on the ridges. If you ever go up on a ridge cap and you've got shingles that are broken apart and look like they're in two pieces, that's part of the reason why.
Okay. Well, I noticed that also you have Mama's Metal Roofing as a part. I guess under this umbrella, and I was hoping you could explain a little bit about how Mama's Metal Roofing fits into the business, and then if you could share with us a little bit about the advantages of a metal roof versus the asphalt shingle, or vice versa. We can just talk about that some.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tim Leeper Roofing, for a lot of years, they did shingles, metal, and occasionally, back in the older days, we would do some low-slope projects. We ebbed and flowed on that, but, by and large, we said, this is what we're going to do. And then we came to the place to where we said, we're really having to subcontract out this metal, and we don't have the expertise that we would like to have to be comfortable in this. And so my guys came back to me and said, hey, we don't want to do metal roofing. I said, well, is that your final answer? Because if it is, I'm going to tell you that I'm going to do it. I'm going to take a crew. I've got too many people and too many friends have metal roofs that, we need to be helping. Because if you can't be as much as you can to your friends in the roofing business, whether they've got a metal roof, a shingle roof, or a flat roof, they'll go elsewhere to have their project serviced. And I understand that sometimes we just can't get to everything. But I want to help as many of my friends as I can. And then the rest of the industry, if I've got time left, I can help them too. Sure. But and I've made a lot of friends over the years doing this work. But so we've started the metal roofing division, and One of the things I love about metal roofs is typically a metal roof will last you 3 times the life cycle of a shingle roof. And so I make a living and have made a living over the years doing shingle roofs because that's what most of the market will do. They'll put shingle roofs on because they're a little bit less expensive than metal roofs. And there was a time that there was a big price differential between the metal and the shingles, and but over the last few years we've seen that you can call it inflation, you can call it whatever you want, but the asphalt prices have just increased, and also the labor. And when labor increases in our industry, the labor doesn't increase with just one crew. They talk, and they say we're getting this per square, we're getting this, and everybody's rate begins to go up. And right. Another thing that happens is when you have a big storm like we had a couple of years ago, we had COVID and we had 2 storms, a tornado and then straight line winds directly after that. Those are 3 major issues right there. And so a lot of people had to come to town and help the existing contractors that were here. We didn't need anybody else because we already had enough crews. But the prices go up and they don't really come back down. And so the asphalt prices, labor and material have come up so high that they are close to what a metal roof is right now. Now, there used to be about a 40% difference. Now it's about a 15% difference. And so I have a lot of customers saying, that's really close. Now I can, conceivably make that jump. 15% is not much. I mean, you think about it. If you pay $60,000 for a vehicle, or you can get the same vehicle with all the things you really want for $62,000, like 4-wheel drive and a few other things. Most people say, okay, well, if I'm going to pay $60,000, I can pay $62,000. Right. It's the same thing with a metal roof. They'll make that jump if they really want to. They'll make that jump, and what they find is their maintenance is less over the years, and they realize that unless we have a biblical hailstorm come through town, we're not replacing this roof anytime soon.
Yeah. Well, and that brings up a good point. So on the metal roofs, how they handle a hailstorm, for example. We had some earlier this year, and I'm sure you're well aware of that and had a lot of replacement that you had to do with some of those shingle roofs. But metal survives a little bit better than...
Metal seems to hold up a little bit better to it. Now, it doesn't mean that a metal won't dent, but it's thick enough gauge that typically it takes a bigger hailstone to make an impact. Now, we'll say this. Earlier this year, out in Leapers Fort in Franklin, we saw hail so big that it would smash, flat in a couple of places, some of the ribs. That takes a really large hailstone. Yeah. And they destroyed some of these metal roofs out there, and so we've been out there replacing some metal roofs because we work here in Wilson County, but we're all over Middle Tennessee and Williamson County, where Franklin, Leapers Fork area, where this hailstone came through. You can imagine what it did to a shingle roof if it damaged a metal roof that much.
Yeah. So speaking of all of that, the installation of a metal roof. I'm assuming, I don't know, but I'm assuming it's a lot quicker because it seems like you've got these big sheets of metal you're working with. Is that true, or am I not looking at it right?
In some cases, yes. A lot of times, I'm not a real big fan of going over an existing roof until I got into the metal roofing industry. Most of the time, I will try to leave, if it's just got one layer on it. If it's got 2 layers, I have to take it off. But if it's got one layer, I will go back with a last strip, perpendicular to the rafters, and we'll screw or nail with ring shank nails into the rafters the 1x4 last strip. That's what we screw into. So when we put an 1.5 inch screw, it goes it goes 7/8 inch into that wood lath, then it goes into the plywood, and so it's got a lot more meat to hold into. Basically, I'm reframing the roof. I'm giving it a whole new deck, new bones of the roof. It's just going perpendicular. And so we'll put that on, and the sheets do go quicker, but the cuts are a little slower in the valleys and the hips, when you have to cut angles. So I would tell you that by and large, if a roof took me 12 hours to install on a shingle roof, I could do it in 9 to 10 hours on a metal roof. And if the metal roof's really cut up, it could be that long or longer, though. It just depends on the angles.
Bottom line is you all can meet with the client, talk to them about the pros and cons of the different ways they should go or could go, and then you just go from there with it, whether it's a new roof or just a replacement of an existing one?
We do, and I'll tell you, not every roof would look good with a metal roof, and so that's some of the conversations we have with somebody. As much as I love metal roofs, they don't fit in every neighborhood. You know, some of these newer neighborhoods that have all the same houses, if you put a metal roof in the middle of one of these new subdivisions, it would stand out like a sore thumb. And so I don't want them to be looked at like, look at that guy, he put a metal roof on in the middle of all these shingles. But for the ones that it does make sense, we can tell them about the life expectancy of that metal roof, about what they can expect for maintenance. About 15, 20 years, you'll change out screws. Or, if you do a standing seam, that roof should last you 60 or 80 years, with very minimal maintenance. So we can talk about some of those things. We can talk about budgets and show them the different roof components. And what's funny is we very rarely get to talk about new products. New products come out very rarely, but now there's a faux standing seam roof that looks like a standing seam, but it actually is fastened with screws. And I think that's going to take over the market over the next few years, the metal roofing market. I think it's going to be a large part of what we see.
Oh, that's interesting. That'd be good to see. With the minute we have left, I want to switch gears real quickly. You're still, I would consider, a newlywed, and your wife has an organization that she's created along with someone else. And if you could tell a little bit in 1 minute about that and about the clay shoot and how that went last weekend.
Clay shoot went well. We had 3 flights this year, up from 2 flights last year. We did very well. We had a very generous donation check to come in that exceeded the amount that we were able to raise last year. But the nonprofit is Our Sister's Keeper. Sue Ann Bone Leeper is the executive director, and they help women come out of incarceration and go back into a life of freedom and all the obstacles that comes with that.
Well, that's a great organization. I'm glad that you all are involved in that. I'm happy that it was a very big success last weekend. Clay shooting, then it was a dinner later on, and bourbon tasting and all sorts of stuff. I read up on that cigar bar. I was like, where was I when all this happened? Anyway, we are about out of time. Tim, tell everybody where they can reach you for more information about roofing.
Best way to get me is timleeperroofing.com or mamasmetalroofing.com.
Very good. Tim Leeper, glad to have you with us this morning. Tim Leeper Roofing, Mama's Metal Roofing. We appreciate you joining us on this Thursday morning. And with that, we are out of time. My name is Matt Griffin, wishing all of you a great day.